pray. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to get together. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've had, nice warm sunshine. Just ask that you give us wisdom to do what's right as everything that comes before us this evening. Thank you for all the many blessings that we receive each and every day in this country. Thank you for all of our first responders, men and women in uniform, throughout military, police, fire, all of them, for all they do to keep us safe and keep this country the great country it is. Give us all safe travels. We go our separate ways this evening. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege. Tonight should be, if all goes well, the last meeting of the County Council in this room and in this building. This building was dedicated in 1955, and the state legislature created county councils in 1976. And this council chamber, this room, was first used based on what we can find in March 6, 1978, for a council meeting. Before that, the county council would travel around the county and hold meetings in various locations in the county, and as well as using what they considered conference rooms somewhere located in this building. We're not exactly sure where they are.
They were a secret.
Yeah, they were. That helps good government. It is a historical moment for us. This is where we leave this facility and we move into our other facility. Those of you who haven't noticed, the air is not off. It's not working. We're not moving a minute too soon, trust me. But tonight will be the last time a gavel falls in this building, and it will eventually be torn down later in a few months. So this is, in a way, this is a historical night for York County and for its citizens as we move from this building to the new. So just wanted to bring that up. Oath of office, there are none. Billy Dunlap, appearances.
Thank you, Council, Chairman. I'd like to start by thanking you for your service to York County. And what I'm going to share with you today is just our quarterly update on what we've done over the last 3 months and what we've got planned to do over the next 3 months. Just to give you, make sure that I'm on here. There we go. Just to give you a little bit of background on what our mission and our purpose is as Visit York County. Our mission is to create a thriving travel and tourism economy in York County, and our purpose is to develop an authentic, unified identity for York County and to promote the long-term development and marketing of York County as a destination. Now, how does tourism contribute to the economy in York County? You've got a sheet in front of you. You also have our annual report from 2017-2018, which is sort of our report card. But the single sheet that you have in front of you is how tourism contributes to the economy of York County. In 2017, tourism generated $245 million in visitor spending. That is people that came to York County for a day, 2 days, a week, a month, came to York County and spent money, and they spent $245 million in 2017. During that year, tourism created $5.7 million in local tax revenues. It also produced $43.3 million in payroll. And as a result of taxes generated by visitor spending in York County, each household, including mine, pays $245 less in local and state taxes. I think that is a very important number. Now, success in 2018-2019. In 2017-2018, Visit York County produced $18.2 million in economic impact. Just to show you what we've done over the last 12 months, During 2018, 2019, our anticipated economic impact is going to be $37.4 million. That is business that we've already booked that is coming to York County between now and July 1st. So you'll see in that 1-year time period, we doubled the economic impact in York County. When we talked over the last year, we talked about municipal funding, everybody paying their share, everybody having some skin in the game. I can tell you that as of today, we have funding from all 5 of the top municipalities. We have funding from York, Clover, Tiggakay, Rock Hill, Fort Mill, and York County. So we have 100% participation in municipal funding. Now, as far as our marketing is concerned, we, as we've talked about over the last year, we are focusing on digital marketing. We're focusing on reaching people through digital marketing. We're doing that through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, focusing on people in North and South Carolina that are going to come to York County for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a long weekend. That is who we're focusing on now, so we've narrowed our net. We're going to, there you go. We're going to see if this plays. Even though we don't have sound, I'm going to tell you what this is. This is our newest endeavor, which is Road Trip York County. This is a monthly YouTube show that we are producing locally. And what it does is we are highlighting different parts of York County. We're distributing this through our digital marketing channels. This is the one from a couple of months ago, and it focuses on the Sylvia in downtown York. And it talks about why you should come to the Sylvia. We've also done one for agriculture. We've done one for the Friendship 9 and what that group meant to the African American history in York County. So we're talking about experiences that are going to bring you to York County. That is part of what this Road Trip York County is doing. And we can go back to the presentation. That'll be fine.
Before you do that, I believe you're also using a local company to help produce these.
Yes, Rev & Flow.
And a local resident of my district.
Rev & Flow, Jason Broadwater, actually produced the music that we're using before and after the show is all original music that Jason and his group put together. And we could not be more pleased with the impact that this is making. And having a digital marketing manager that is also a former broadcast journalist does not hurt either. So she has done a great job with Road Trip York County. All right, Karen, you might have to move me to the next one. There we go. All right, the Yoko Buzz is another one of our new ventures. This comes out every Friday morning, and this focuses on the top 5 things to do that weekend in York County. And this comes through your email. It is a subscriber-based service. You subscribe to the email, you get it every Friday morning, and it tells you what's going on that weekend. Now, over the last 3 months, things that we've had go on, we hosted the NCAA Division I cross-country regionals at Winthrop. We also hosted the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference cross-country championships. We hosted the first annual Visit York County Battle at the Rock presented by Phenom Hoop Report. We sold out Nation Ford High School. 2 days of basketball. We sold out midday on Saturday. Had great national media exposure on that event. That event is now going to 3 days next year, and we are almost completely full with our teams for next year. We also did the MLK Holiday Basketball Showcase at York Comprehensive High School on the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday a few Mondays ago. That was teams from all over South Carolina that came for a day of basketball at York High School. The Yoko Brew Trail continues to have a life of its own. I think some of you either have your shirts or are in the process of trying to get your shirts. But the Yoko Brew Trail continues to be highly successful, generating about $55,000 in direct spending each month in those 7 different locations. Now, what's next? Over the next 3 months, we will launch a new website in April. We are excited about that. Be much more user-friendly, gives us the capability to create more experiences. We are also hosting the South Carolina Humanities Festival. First time it's been in Rock Hill in a number of years. We are also hosting the Yoko Brew Trail Fam Tour, which we have 20 journalists, bloggers, influencers from all over the country that are coming here to spend 3 days to do a fam tour on the Brew Trail. And what that is we take them around and let them experience the Brew Trail, and then these journalists, bloggers, influencers put it out on social media, and they talk about the Brew Trail, they talk about the breweries, and they talk about Windy Hill, they talk about Main Street Bottle Shop, and you would be amazed at the impact that that has. But that's part of what we do at Visit York County, is creating media exposure for our partners. So we're excited that we've got 20 journalists signed up to do that. We're also hosting the Rivals Regional Football Camp. 1,500 football players will be coming here over the next 2 months. The Queen City Showcase, which is our biggest basketball event, 200 teams. They will fill just about every high school gymnasium in York County on that weekend. And then the SIAC Track and Field Championships is coming to Winthrop. And to also give you an update, we have also booked the SIAC men's and women's basketball and volleyball championships for 2020, 2021, and 2022. Each one of those will have a significant economic impact in York County. That's my quarterly report. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Billy, I just want to thank you for what you do. Tourism is extremely important, so
Thank you, Brett.
you do a good
Thank you.
job.
Public forum, I believe the York County School District. York 1 School District, excuse me. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chairman Johnson, council members. I'm Kelly Cox. I am the new superintendent at York 1. This is Dr. Lee Green. He's joining me here as our new Technology Center Director. And we're here on behalf of the district just to express our appreciation to you for your willingness to donate the vehicles to our Technology Center for use in our automotive program. As we all know, economic growth of any community is dependent, at least in part, on having a trained workforce. That includes those that are trained in soft skills as well as technology skills. And your donation of those vehicles allows us to help ensure that we can do our part to provide a trained workforce. Those vehicles will be used in our automotive program, and Dr. Green wants to speak to the specifics on that. I do want to point out the commitment and the seriousness that the district appreciates this generosity in your act. We have with us our finance director here representing, as well as our assistant director, Shannon Kerrigan, and our automotive teacher, Mr. Commerce, who wanted to be here and express his gratitude as well.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is Lee Green. I'm the director of Floyd D. Johnson Technology Center. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the donation that you have given to our Technology Center. We are charged with preparing our young people of this community to be future residents, contributing residents of this community here. Automotive technology has been a flagship program at the Career Center, and without support and generosity of our community, it will be hard to continue doing our mission. So again, I would like to say thank you for your donation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for those who do not know, the county has donated surplus vehicles we could no longer use to the school district. They will be used in their technology center and then eventually given back. And hopefully we'll have a constant replacement so that they have new vehicles to work on and teach skills. So it's a worthwhile project for everyone. Is there any item any member of the council would like to remove from consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I ask that we pull out number 5. I have a few questions.
Number 5 on page 2 will be moved to new business number 2. Do we have a motion on consent agenda?
Move to approve consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. Public hearings. Public hearing number 1, case number 18-27, tax map number 592-000007 and 592-000008, rezone from RD1 to BD2, property located at Celanese Road at Twin Lakes Road in the Rock Hill community. Is anyone against who would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Come forward if you'd like. Just please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Linda Schaefer, and I live at 3136 Doncaster Drive. And I'm not opposed to the development. I just have concerns that I wanted to bring to the table. I don't know if any of you have been through our development. It's Hampshire subdivision. It's a unique subdivision. It's like 33 homes, and mostly elderly people live there. And it's a quiet neighborhood, and we like it that way, and we want to, try to keep it that way. We just want to make sure that, if the development is approved to go through, that there's an appropriate a buffer, because it's down from our neighborhood to this development. One of my biggest concerns is Celanese Road. There's so much traffic that has been added to Celanese Road, and adding more businesses and having them go on and off of Celanese Road, could be more accidents. And where they're putting the drive is right across from another development, across from Celanese. And I'm concerned at some point there may be another red light there, as another concern that we have. And I travel Celanese every day back and forth for work, and there's multiple, there was an accident this morning, 4 cars piled up. And a couple of weeks ago there was another one. One was really bad, I think it was last week or the week before, that all 3 lanes were closed, and I couldn't even get home. I had to go all the way around to get there. So just adding more businesses without trying to get a solution to the Celanese Road, which I think is a concern for a lot of people. Also, with this development, I've looked at the plans, and they're going to have a road on Celanese, and it comes across onto Twin Lakes. And I sit at the Harris Teeter red light, and I watch cars go through the BP, cutting across to, not to avoid the red light. So if we have this new road going into this development, are people going to use that as a shortcut to get across to Twin Lakes and go down? I don't know. They're just concerns that I see. And then if we do rezone this property, and this doesn't go through what they're planning to do, is it rezoned, and could something else go there that would be more of a burden to us than what is being planned for today? And they're actually what I have concerned that I just want you guys to think about and have in your mind when you go ahead and vote for this. And like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a positive thing to go there. It's quiet because it's going to be an elderly community, which what we have. But like I said, I just want to make sure the buffer's there. There's enough noise already coming from Celanese into our neighborhood, and I don't want any more. My property actually is going to back up to it. And that's one of the reasons I'm up here speaking to you. And, like I said, the traffic and, adding this traffic to Celanese. And like I said, I'm not opposed to what they want to do. I just want to make sure everybody's aware, of our concerns in our neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else opposed?
My name is Gene Knight. I reside at 517 Scarborough Lane in Rock Hill. I live in the same subdivision. I'd like to point out to council, all of these folks over here live in this subdivision. So you have a group of people who are here from the Hampshire subdivision tonight. constituents, voters, that kind of thing. Again, we're not opposed to the rezoning. In some ways, we're thankful that it is going to be BD2 and not BD3 for the obvious reasons. But we did want to make sure that council was aware that there's also another piece of property up at the corner of Ebenport and Celanese. I'm sure if you travel on Celanese, you may see it. It's not developed. All the trees were cut down. There was a stoplight put in. Nothing's happened. That's the kind of thing we don't want to see. So please keep that in mind, and whatever you can do from a council standpoint, from a zoning standpoint, to ensure that the developer lives up to what the developer says he's going to do. Because otherwise it impacts our lives and impacts a lot of people's lives around there as well. Appreciate the time, appreciate the forum. Thank you very much.
Anyone else opposed? Anyone in favor? Come on up.
Thank you for allowing us to speak. My name is Ken Sheasley. I'm with Hampshire Realty Advisors. It has nothing to do with the Hampshire neighborhood, which is just a coincidence. It's the same name. We had a neighborhood meeting with just about everybody was at this group here 2 weeks ago tomorrow, I believe, and addressed quite a few of these issues. The traffic issue is a problem that we have submitted a TIA to the county and to DOT. DOT has approved that. The county has a couple of things that they want to talk to us about, which we want to discuss, and we're very open in bringing these forward. We're creating a senior living campus. We're not trying to do anything else other than have a park-like setting with this particular campus. And what we showed to the neighborhood was a very, very attractive layout that's crossing a creek. We've aligned the traffic intersections as we were asked to do. We actually have 2 driveways on the current property. We're removing those and going down to 1, and then creating another crossing of the creek to go out on Twin Lakes to address those. I understand trying cut-throughs. We will absolutely fight anybody trying to do any kind of cut-throughs. We will not allow that. That's not in our interest. We will want more traffic to come out onto Twin Lakes rather than come out directly onto Celanese, but that's something we cannot absolutely stop. So, but we are lining our driveway up, and it is a driveway, not a road, across from the street across the street. I think with the county guidelines that you have, we have to abide by all those guidelines. In addition to that, the city of Rock Hill gets a chance to look at what we're doing too. So I think you're going to have a double whammy when it comes to reviewing anything that what we have presented and will provide. The total site is 13.42 acres because it also includes a 4th piece that's already zoned BD2. So out of that 13.42 acres, there's 5.52 acres of green space, which is almost 58% of what we're trying to accomplish here. So we're allowing a lot of the trees and the natural things. And we're interested in putting in a proper buffer also. We will have a buffer. There's an easement that goes across the back of the property. It's a utility easement that's electrical. That's maintained by the local power company. We're off of that easement because it's a requirement to be a minimum of 40 feet or 50 feet. So we're actually, our entire distance is a 60-foot buffer, and we're only required to put a 50. If we fence it, and we haven't finalized what type of fencing and the topography issues, or putting some type of fencing in addition to some type of landscaping that would help keep that quiet and that same peaceful type nature that we're trying to attack. So I think if there's any other questions, thank you.
Sorry, address, please.
I'm hard of hearing.
Your address. Business address.
5711 Old Harding Road, Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question of staff?
Certainly.
Dave?
Let me get through the favor. Sure. Anyone else in favor? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gary O'Brien. I'm a civil engineer, and I'm working with Mr. Sheasley on this project. I'm from, my address is 102 Hidden Point, Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Nashville. I represent the design team for this project, and as Ken alluded to, stated, we met with the neighbors a couple weeks ago and heard their concerns. And as part of the design team, I'll let you know we're going to do everything we can to address their questions, their concerns. I mean, obviously, it benefits the residents of our facility too to have nice buffering and nice plantings and safe driveways and safe places to walk. And so it's in our interest also to do those things. So, you know, obviously traffic is a concern. But again, I just wanted to let you guys know that as a design team, we're going to do everything we can to work with the staff, planning commission to do this right and to meet the requirements and work with the neighbors also. Thank you.
Anyone else in favor? Mr. Blackwell.
David, if you, with the driveway coming on the Celanese, will that become a DOT final decision, or?
It will require a DOT permit. We'll try to apply their standards as well as ours to it, so it'd meet both standards.
And if you would, just let me know, not now, but what would be the maximum practical buffer with the neighborhood behind it? Because I know there's only limits of what you can do. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else have a question for David? I've been asked to point out, this will be the only public hearing on this issue. So since someone had alluded to the fact that there was a large group from the neighborhood, if you are from Hampshire subdivision, just please stand up so we can actually see who's from the neighborhood. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Do I have a motion?
If I would just,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, if we could just let the record reflect that there are 15 individuals who stood up in response to that question. I just think it's important for us to have a record so that we know what to fall back on.
Let the record, and this is just simply a public hearing, but we're closing public hearing, so.
Well,
There's a
motion,
second one.
sir,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We got to close the public hearing.
motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. Rezoning case number 19-01, tax map 516-00000006 to rezone from AGC to RUD1 at 3690 Williamson Road in the Rock Hill community. Would anyone like to speak against? Yes. Anyone against? Anyone in favor?
Yes, I don't have to speak. Only one in favor. I was just wanting to,
Make sure you give your name and address, please.
I'm sorry, I'm Connie Strait. I'm at 3325 Strait Road, and I own the property on Williamson Road. Basically, what I'm trying to do is peel out 2 acres to be able to sell to my son. He has a house. I bought the land. It's about 239 acres. On both sides of the road, on Williamson Road. The house is sitting on a parcel that's 209 acres. And, I have a home. I'm not going to move. And he wants to buy the home. So I'm just trying to peel out the 2 acres so I can sell it to him.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in favor? Do we have a motion?
Move to close.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none.
And may I say one more thing?
Mr. Blackwell.
I do want to recommend the people in that area, you know who I am, just, you have concerns, that's what I'm there for. Thank you. So contact me directly. Have I got some up here? There you go. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
You're all right. Item number 3, council to hold a public hearing and approve third reading of an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a special source revenue credit agreement by and between York County, South Carolina, and Eclipse Automotion Southeast LLC, whereby under certain conditions, York County will provide Eclipse Automation Southeast LLC with certain credits against taxes with respect to an industrial project in the county, and such credits will be in reimbursement of investment related to qualified infrastructure and providing for related matters. Is there anyone who would like to speak against? Anyone in favor?
Good evening. My name is Eric Nietzsche. I'm president of Eclipse Automation, currently at 2920 Whitehall Park Drive in Charlotte. And we are planning to relocate to 1510 Cedar Line Drive in Rock Hill in the next couple of months. I'm here to tell you a little bit about us. We are a company that designs and builds custom automation for many of the world's finest manufacturers. And we have been in Charlotte for 5 years, and we've outgrown our premises there and had to make some decisions on where we were going to take our next 5-year growth spurt. We considered properties in York, Gaston, Lancaster, Mecklenburg, etc., and weighed a bunch of decisions, and in fact had come to the point where we had land under contract along with plans and renderings for some property in Mecklenburg. But a property came available in Rock Hill that better suited our needs, and there were pros and cons to all of the options we were considering, but there was a package put together by the city, county, and state that ultimately made it pretty attractive to move to Rock Hill. So I'm here to thank everybody for considering that incentive package. We're looking forward to the prospect of becoming part of the business climate here in York County and in Rock Hill. And if there's any questions, I'll field them otherwise.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is anyone else in favor? We have a motion.
Move to close.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none. We have another motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. New business, council to approve award of bid number 2595 regarding the construction of the Fort Mill Convenience Center to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Leitner Construction of Rock Hill, South Carolina, for a total cost of $1,859,713.60.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I do want to say a few words, and I'm very glad that we are finally at the point where we're approving a construction contract, and we couldn't ask for a better contractor than Leitner Construction to do it. So I'm very pleased that we're moving forward. As we all know, there's been a lot of concern raised by why it's taken us so long to get to this point, and I do think that council needs to take a closer look at that to avoid this problem happening again. And most importantly, we have got to make sure that we follow up at our strategic planning session to make sure that any of these places where we are currently leasing property, that we identify land now and not wait for this to happen again, and that we look towards our comp plan to identify those places where we're going to need them in the future. This was not handled in a way that I think was a good, it's taken too long to get to this point, but I am glad that we're moving forward, and I know Leitner will do a good job on this.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say, hearing none, it passes. Mr. Shanahan.
Yes, sir. I just want to let you know that there are 2 other properties like this, and we are working on getting ownership at this time.
Thank you, sir. Number 2 under new business, approve nominated applicants for service for boards and commissions from the Finance and Operations Committee meeting on January 22, 2019. Would our Finance and Operations Chair please read those for us?
All right. The committee met on January 22nd, 2019, and we made recommendation to approve Rosalind Harps for the Catawba Regional Workforce Investment Board, Albert Quarles, Zoning Board of Appeals, District 6, Michael Caruth, Leslie Fire Tax Advisory Board, Ronnie Beck, Economic Development Board, Catawba Indian Nation Representative, Matthew Martin, Rock Hill, York County Convention and Visitors Bureau at Large seat, David David Roberts for the same at-large seat, James Lightsey for the Flint Hill Fire Tax Advisory Board, Aubrey Parham for the Planning Commission, District 3, Peter Capicelli for the Bethel Tax Advisory Board, Paul Rodriguez, and Joseph Costello for that same board, Dorothy Johnson for the Hospitality Tax Committee, District 2. Thank you for letting me do that. I appreciate that.
I'm so used to that being
I
done
didn't know
in
you could
reports, I
defer that.
apologize, I should have just read them, but that's my fault. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, the reason I ask about this is the Bethel Fire Tax Advisory Board. Obviously, my history is, I mean, when it's in that person's district, I don't really interfere or anything, and I'm not trying to interfere this time. But it's kind of a unique scenario where we dissolved the board for issues and concerns about 2 years ago, and because of dissatisfaction with the board at the time. And then it was asked for Mr. Shanahan to take it over, to manage it. So with all the uniqueness of this, and essentially the first time I know of where a council member just appointed the whole tax board. So with the experience of the staff, in particular Mr. Shanahan, I just wanted to ask if he had taken part in the selection of the members at all, just to add his expertise and knowledge with this being a whole brand-new ball game with this tax board.
I have not had any part of selecting who was on the board, but I'm going to be speaking to the board when it's in place about the issues that we've had, and so.
It was actually the Finance and Operations Committee that appointed these members.
Well, here again, that's my only concern because of that. I feel like it's, with this being revived again, I think it was important for staff, whether it be Bill or Andy that dealt with a lot of these issues or whatever, kind of provide some input. Because of that, I'm not going to support it, but I'm fine with everybody else. I'm fine with all the other committees. I just feel like with all the issues we've had there, we needed a little bit more staff input. And that's all I have to say about it.
Anyone else? Mr. Winkler?
I guess for the same reason, to be consistent, I have consistently spoken against putting the Bethel Tax Board back in place, because I didn't feel that everything had been addressed for the reason that we removed the tax board. I am on Finance and Operations, and I voted to move those out in deference to the council member who represents that area before full council, because I felt like it should come before full council for the vote and shouldn't be killed in a committee because of my standing all along of not supporting this. So it's kind of a weird situation for me because I voted for this out of Finance and Operations, but I will not be supporting the list tonight as it is before full council, because I have, from the first day we started looking at this, had an issue with putting the Bethel Tax Board back in place. So.
I guess it's my turn.
Ms. Love?
So, Councilman Winkler, we know that you've been opposed to this board 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
You were the only person that was opposed to the board. And then it came to the Finance and Operations Committee, and you told me, I'm gonna support this. So you did second the motion for that. We are beyond the point of vetting the people that are on this list as number 5 tonight. And I just want to say that if anybody thinks that I would want to endure what I did with the original fire tax board, I have vetted the people for this board more than anybody in this room would ever consider vetting people. This is a phenomenal board. And if you've got any questions, if you want to call them and talk to them, if you want to look at their applications, I would encourage you to do that. But more importantly than that is that I would appreciate the support and the quite frankly, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. That's where we are. I don't know what to say. But anyway, the motion's been made to approve the people that Councilwoman Cox read, and hopefully that's where we are and we move forward.
Any other discussion?
I'm the final member of the F&O committee, and I do believe that these folks go through a rigorous process to make sure that they're qualified. There was no issue with any of the appointees. We have a laundry list of people to approve, and I support the approval of the list.
And Chairman Johnson, if I could.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make sure that everybody understands and that Allison understands, my issue is not with the vetting of these people or these people. My issue from the beginning has been with putting the board back in, and that's why I don't support it.
Anything? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed? No.
Motion passes.
Can I ask a question?
Let's, in a minute, yeah. There are no, well, we do have committee report. Your committee met this evening.
Finance and Operations met today at 5:45 and took action on 2 matters. We deferred action on 2 remaining appointees to the Bethel Tax Board. And thank you to Robert Winkler, who took over the meeting to address the question of the Board of Disabilities appointee for District 5. I recused myself from that vote. The motion was made by Mr. Winkler and seconded by Ms. Love to approve Susan Champion to serve in that capacity. I recused myself from that vote. We also received a very brief, probably 2-minute, that's the shortest I've ever heard Kevin Madden speak, because we ran out of time, finance update that included some mention of 71 residential permits being pulled or withdrawn in the Fort Mill area, and we were also given a list of nonprofit and agencies, the 1% money that goes into our budget, how we spent that in the past. And I would ask that all council be provided a copy of that list so that if there's any discussion of that in the upcoming budget, that they're aware of that list.
Thank you. Councilmember, new non-agenda comments. Anyone? Ms. Cox?
I wanted to mention this to council, and I'm sorry I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to talk with you individually, but I've recently become aware of the fact that at least one board has a set of folks who are on that board. It's the CHC, who serve in an ex officio capacity. And from my review of it, it looks as if there's an ambiguity as to whether or not those folks can serve. But our committees are allowed to serve 2 terms, and there's a question, if you're a non-voting member, does that mean you can only serve 1 term, or do you serve 2? It directly affects a member in my district who it's very hard to find folks to serve in that capacity, and I think it's really important to make sure that those folks have the history to be able to make decisions about what to do with that funding. So I'm going to ask council to support me in a revision to that ordinance that would make it clear so that there's no question there that an individual serving 2 terms means 2 voting terms where they actually have a voice in the vote. And so I just wanted to let council know that I was going to see about putting that on a next agenda. I also wanted to also say that I had the privilege of attending the first annual Sheriff's Awards banquet this past week. It really was. It was packed at the American Legion to be the first time to hold that. Hundreds of people there. They will not be able to have it there next year because it's too big. I'm very excited to see that we're now going to have an opportunity to recognize our officers for what they do for us. And it's a shame when a tragedy has to bring us to the point of making sure that we recognize that. But it was heartwarming. It was great to see that sometimes tragedies like that have a tendency to either break you down or make you stronger. And it's very clear that the team at the Sheriff's Department is stronger for it, and that they're using this as an opportunity to bond together, and I'm very thankful for that. It was just a great experience, and I would encourage all the council members to go to the next one. At this meeting, Officer Chris Doty was recognized as the Deputy of the Year, and I thought it was interesting that they came up with that acronym, Deputy of the Year, because it was Doty. That was neat when they talked about that, but it was a really good experience.
Mr. Blackwell.
I do want to give notice to, which I already have actually, to the public safety, and let all the other council members know. We're going to have a public safety committee meeting the week after Sunday, February 24th, And I'm going to give the two other committee members with me time to make sure if there's a day that won't work. But we're going to discuss the East Justice Center, getting feedback from Kevin Tolson, and also some issues that Riverview Fire Department District wants to have addressed. Other thing I want to bring up, and this is, I mean, in general terms, from what happened with the rezoning that we talked about last week, or 2 weeks ago, where we had staff recommending against the rezoning, and of course, every neighbor and Bob was against it and gave us a petition. We had the public hearing way back, I think, in September, so it's been delayed now 3 or 4 months before we finally addressed it. I accepted the will of the council. 4 members wanted to change it from BD1 to BD3. That's fine. But I just want to point out some realities here that we did disagree with the new comprehensive land use plan, which a couple, 3 years ago, we wanted to make that the gold standard. And like I said, this is a situation where on top of that, every citizen near it disapproved of it, which is kind of a new scenario that I can't remember ever happening, when especially the staff also recommended against it. So, I mean, we've got some precedent set here that we're just going to have to accept now. And also, there seems to be an issue with council members not respecting that council member's district. I don't know if the facts that I'm beginning to form are total facts or not, but I'll just point out that as chairman for 8 years, I made sure that that councilman's district was always respected. That's their district, that's their expertise, and I always defer to that council member, which this may not have been the case on this one, but that aside, I'm not fussing. I'm just kind of pointing out some realities that how the future's maybe going to go. So that's all I had to say.
You won't? Anyone? Do we have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, I just want to point out, as Chairman Johnson mentioned previously, that this building is not long for the wrecking ball, as we know, and we're fixing to move over here into the new building. And I just want to point out how grateful I am for all the staff's Herculean efforts to get us up over here. Unfortunately, our friend Chad wasn't able to get there for his last meeting, but I'm looking forward to being in the new building, and I'm grateful for everyone's efforts to get us in.
Agree.
That is seconded by all of us.
And Chad said he's glad he could do it for you.
That's right.
Is there a motion regarding, or are there any citizen concerns? No one signed up. Executive session, is there a motion?
Move we go into executive session to receive receipt of legal advice for a special alcohol permission regarding CEC-sponsored event, and receipt of legal advice to do with Colonial Pipeline Company tax exemption request.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We will return at 7 o'clock. I wouldn't have done that.
Wow.
Council has exited executive session. Do we have any matters to consider?
Yes, motion to authorize the county attorney to associate legal counsel for the purpose of filing a motion to intervene in the Colonial Pipeline issue.
Second.
Any discussion? All those, Mr. Blackwell.
I do have some concerns about this, but I'll trust the wisdom of staff and I'll support it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Do we have a motion for the final adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.